Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, what an exciting day. Amy Schumer's Kinda Pregnant is out on Netflix today. Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Amy Schumer's Kinda Pregnant. Reviews are embargoed until today, so I don't have any to share, but that tells me something. It means that Netflix is really, really excited about the super positive reviews they're going to get for it, and they wanted them to all come out today. Yeah, we'll see. Amy Schumer wants us to talk about her, so we sure will today. Let's start with this piece in Decider by Anna Menta. Anna writes, Amy Schumer peaked with her 12 Angry Men sketch from Inside Amy Schumer. It's been nearly a decade, but Amy Schumer still hasn't topped her 12 Angry Men parody from 2015. And at this point, with former fans abandoning her in light of her recent controversial opinions, I gotta click on that. What are these controversial opinions again? Ah, yes, that links to The Independent, why Amy Schumer's Israel-Gaza posts were corrected by MLK's daughter. And an overwhelming lack of enthusiasm for her new Netflix movie. It seems plausible that she never will. I'm skimming through this. Anna Menta writes, in Schumer's defense, it's difficult for anything to best that near-perfect comedy sketch. It aired as the third episode of the third season of Schumer's Comedy Central series Inside Amy Schumer, which you can stream for free on Hulu. Typically, the show featured at least 5 short sketches per episode, but 12 Angry Men Inside Amy Schumer broke format with a single black and white 18-minute-long bit. Over the next 15 minutes or so, we see a character take on the role of Henry Fonda's 12 Angry Men character. He's on a mission to acquit Schumer, not on the basis of reasonable doubt, but rather on the basis of reasonable chub, meaning that each man in the room might plausibly, under the right circumstances, find Amy Schumer attractive. What makes the sketch so brilliant, writes Anna, in addition to the pitch-perfect recreation of the original movie's melodramatic tone, is that this is quite literally how the internet sounds when talking about Schumer. It doesn't seem to matter what else Schumer does to offend, and she does plenty. Another hyperlink. Let me click on that one. This one took me to BuzzFeed. Amy Schumer doubled down on her Israel comments, and it's not great, is that article. There will always be a man in the corner who simply must chime in to announce he wouldn't have sex with Amy. Nothing Schumer has done since has managed to find that perfect balance. A few months after 12 Angry Men Inside Amy Schumer aired, Amy's first movie, Trainwreck, opened in theaters. It's easily her best film, though not quite as concise and clean as the sketch. Still, 2015 remains Schumer's best era. It's the year she won her first and only Emmy Award for Inside Amy Schumer, and she even snagged a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress in Trainwreck. And it reminds us the review embargo for Kinda Pregnant has not yet lifted. Never a great sign, but the general sentiment surrounding the movie seems tepid at best. We'll get into the reviews tomorrow. Amy popped by The View and confessed to scheduling sex with her husband. She wanted us all to know what she and her husband Chris plan to do for their upcoming wedding anniversary, which happens to fall the day before Valentine's Day. She wants us to know, well, actually, that's the weekend of the SNL 50th anniversary special, so I think I get a +1. Otherwise, I'll just ditch him. She was joking. I believe no one is getting a +1. That's been well reported. Amy added, we're pretty corny. We'll make sweet love. Amy then shared that they do schedule their sexy time, saying, there's never a vibe. It never just happens. Do people do that? One of the hosts agreed with Amy. Amy also provided the host of The View with a bag of gifts, including strap-on pink waist bags modeled after pregnant bellies. These were for each of the co-hosts to wear. Amy said, just strap them right on. Whoopi Goldberg seemed confused, or at least pretended to be confused. Unclear to me. I didn't watch the show. Whoopi held a, quote, bewildered facial expression for 71 seconds. Then there was a commercial break. When they came back from commercial, Whoopi had strapped the fake pregnant belly to her head. It stayed there for most of the rest of the segment, disappeared later in the broadcast. Amy was also out on the red carpet. She believes her 5-year-old son, Gene, shares the comedy gene, telling people, he's really funny. I don't know what his story's going to be, but he loves doing stunts and making people laugh. Other folks on the red carpet were co-stars Jillian Bell, Will Forte, Damon Wayans Jr., and others. Adam Sandler is one of the producers. He was there with his wife. Jerry Seinfeld and Jessica Seinfeld also stopped by the red carpet. Moving on, the Minnesota Star-Tribune caught one of Nikki Glaser's recent shows. They write, for most of the evening, name-dropping was kept to a minimum. She was more focused on defending the use of Ozempic, detailing her visits to tanning salons, and admitting to being jealous of supermodels. She took on social influencers because they look cuter than she does with little effort and said, I want you to do a TikTok dance next to a helicopter. But the Star-Tribune writes, but Glaser's underdog persona doesn't resonate like it used to. It's hard to feel sorry for someone who at this moment just might be the most talked about comedian on the planet. Glaser was more effective when exploring darker themes that have nothing to do with her quest for eternal youth. Apparently, she did some material involving the plane crash in Washington, D.C. It is unclear to me what that material was. She got into some other stuff that I don't even want to talk about on this podcast, but sounds like it was quote-unquote outrageous. Kevin Hart has revealed that he has a new pet eagle. He has named the eagle Saquon Barkley after the Eagles running back. I feel like Kevin has done this bit before around the Super Bowl involving an eagle. Kevin went on Instagram on Monday. Yeah, I am remembering correctly. He showed off his first pet eagle, which is named Jalen Hurts, which he says he purchased for $1.5 million back in 2023. Okay, I did remember that correctly. Kevin revealed he had some issue with Jalen Hurts, the pet eagle, who he says mistook Kevin for a rodent. Kevin calls in trainers to get the pet eagle Hurts properly trained, and then said, like anything, all good things come in pairs. The camera zooms out. There's another eagle. Kevin says he dropped $12 million on a rare eagle with big legs and named it Saquon Barkley. Kevin then makes a cocktail called the Barkley Hurts using his tequila brand because Kevin always has to be hustling something. Speaking of the Eagle, transition, Sam Morril spoke to the Eagle Online. That's a college newspaper. What a terrible segue. I should be embarrassed by that. The Eagle Online was curious if Sam knew he wanted to go into comedy by the time he was in college. Sam said, I did actually. My first time on stage was right after high school when school was ending. And then I was handing out flyers in my free time for stage time when I was in college. That is awful if you've ever seen anybody have to do that. When I briefly went to Tulane University, I kind of got to choose some of the comics they'd bring down. I had a good set in front of one of the comics they brought down. I already kind of knew I liked stand-up a lot. It was kind of all on you. You could choose how hard you were going to work or how not hard you were going to work. I felt like I was missing out socially a little bit because I had friends who were like, oh, this is party night, and I'm literally handing flyers out in the street and stuff like that. But I also really like stand-up. I liked being around comics, so I did feel like I was bonding with a different type of people at that time. So, it was just a choice. And I think I figured if this doesn't work out, it'll just be a chapter in my life. Sam was getting ready to play D.C., and they were curious if political jokes play differently in D.C. Sam said, good question. I haven't been to D.C. in a couple years. I think the crowd seems to be informed, but I don't know if it plays differently. I think maybe they're expecting it. I'll do current events and I'll do social commentary, but I try to keep it from being red versus blue in my act. Clearly, of course, I'll dump on a particular person, but I think when you draw the line too clearly, there's enough division. It's everywhere, so for me, pouring gasoline on fire is kind of pointless when you're trying to give people a good night out. There's ways to do it, I think, and I've done it. But I think it's a line, similar to a dark joke. There's a line to be walked. Katt Williams has bought the Fort McClellan property. This is in Anniston, Alabama. Katt's plan is to turn it into a production studio. Mayor Jack Draper said, this is a sector of the economy that I think could be transformational for this region. We as a city have met with Mr. Williams' team consistently over the last few months. You're talking about jobs. You're talking about construction projects not only for the city, county, but also the region. The fort was closed in 1999. No word on when the studio might open. Joe Coy visited Duluth. He had some fun with how cold it was there. He filmed a tourism video. In the video, he calls himself John McMillan, assistant to the senior vice president of Duluth, Minnesota Department of Tourism. Let's listen. I think this is fun.
Hi, I'm John McMillan, assistant to the senior vice president of the Duluth, Minnesota Department of Tourism. I'm here to show you the beautiful city of Duluth, Minnesota. Come follow me.
Just sit down and enjoy the view of our water on our icy cold benches.
And a beautiful place to go walking.
Also known for our snow-capped rocks.
Despite what people think, Duluth, Minnesota has black people.
Oh, please don't film me. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Henderson. Who? Duluth is also known for stairs for women. And every day is a great day for a hot cup of coffee in Duluth, Minnesota. Hi, Mr. Hernandez.
I don't know you.
He knows me. And stand on top of man-made snow hills. And enjoy our world-famous family saunas. Hi, Mrs. Becky. So next time when you're planning a vacation, think of all the fun things you can do right here in Duluth, Minnesota. Hi, Mr. Peterson. Who? Mr. Peterson?
On Gossip Corner, TMZ reports Corey Holcomb says he got sucker punched by a female comedian who's hell-bent on taking him down physically and financially, so he's seeking court-ordered protection. As the story goes, back in December, Corey was outside the Hollywood Improv. A woman put hands on him as his back was turned to her. In the documents filed Monday in L.A. Superior Court, Corey Holcomb claims she hurled a bunch of insults and obscenities worthy of a celebrity roast. Among the comments the woman allegedly made, "Your mother is a B word," And your, I'll clean this up, penis ain't, anything to look at. Really cleaning it up there. D and S are the words that are asterisked out in the copy I'm reading from. Back to his D. Apparently she yelled out, "That's why your wrist got broke." TMZ says, for the record, Corey says his wrist injury was from skateboarding, not self-love. I'm glad you cleared that up, Corey. A hearing was scheduled where both Corey and the woman will be able to share their versions of what happened, and then the judge was going to decide what happened. I can't wait to report back on that one. Will Ferrell's working on untitled comedy project movie. He'll star with Zac Efron. Efron will play a young convict who's fresh out of prison. Instead of choosing to make good on his newfound freedom, the convict decides to seek revenge on the reality TV judge played by Will Ferrell, whose conviction put him behind bars. That got me curious what Will Ferrell has been doing lately. I called up his IMDb. It's been a minute. His recent acting gigs going backwards, he was in 4 episodes of The Boys in 24. He was a voice in Despicable Me 4. On the TV series In the Know, he voiced Gene. He played Terry McTeer in Quiz Lady. He was the voice of Reggie in the movie Strays. He played the Mattel CEO in Barbie. That's 2023. He appeared in Spirited in 2022, 8 episodes of The Shrink Next Door in 2021. He played Lars Eriksson in the Eurovision Song Contest in 2020. I'm already 5 years back, guys. Scrolling down here, I'm not reading every single line. Played Dad in the Lego Movie 2. I love the first Lego Movie. I didn't see the second one. That's 2019. Played Sherlock Holmes in Holmes and Watson in 2018. Remember that one? Played Brad in Daddy's Home 2 in 2017. He was in Zoolander 2 in 2016. And the Lego Movie was 2014. You see what I'm saying here? Anchorman 2 was 2013. It's been a minute, Will. Vir Das will have a Netflix special at some point. No date yet. This one is titled Fool Volume. I want to make sure that word doesn't get swallowed in my accent. Fool, F-O-O-L. In Fool Volume, Vir Das asks whether people should share the joy, keep it safe, or distribute it. This special was filmed in Tokyo, London, Mumbai, and New York. I've got 2 very short clips from the trailer. The trailer is mostly percussion and attitude, but I pulled out a little bit. Let's listen.
This was not my dream. This is what Mumbai does really well. Mumbai's like, what's your dream? What's your dream? What's your dream? What's your dream? Movie star, bank manager. What's your dream? Happily married, stable family, movie star.
No date yet on that one. Kelsey Grammer revealed to the New York Post he didn't talk to Ted Danson for 30 years. Kelsey said there wasn't like a single thing that blew up their friendship. It was just gradual tension. Grammer says it got a little blown out of proportion. There really wasn't an argument. It was at a time in my life when I was actually going through a lot of self-doubt, self-loathing, honestly. It was when I was drinking a lot. Ted had come up and said, I'm kind of mad at you that sometimes you don't show up ready to go. And I said, okay, I respect that. And that was actually sort of it. Now, maybe what happened for Ted was he stepped away from what might have been a better friendship. Maybe he just had to protect himself. I don't really know, but I said, thanks. We were fine with that. Grammer didn't think when Ted called out his behavior that it would greatly impact their relationship, but they wound up not speaking for 30 years. If you're a younger listener, they co-starred on Cheers from 1982 to 1993. Ted Danson last year on his podcast told Kelsey, I feel like I got stuck a little bit with you during the Cheers years. I have a memory of getting angry at you once. It's stuck in both of our memories, but I feel like I missed out on the last 30 years of Kelsey Grammer, and I feel like it's my bad, my doing, and I almost feel like apologizing to you. No, I do apologize to you and me that I sat back, and didn't, and I really do apologize. Grammer then thanked Ted Danson for the apology and said he too wishes they had spent more time together. My love for you has always been as easy as the day, as easy as the sunrise. That is your comedy news for today. If you enjoy the program, please tell a friend about it. They might like it too. Picking up some new people on YouTube who have discovered the 24/7 streaming channel. So if you're listening to my voice on that right now, I get there's no video. Never said there was. It's just a loop of the last 2 weeks or so of this podcast. Thank you for jumping on board. The podcast comes out in audio form, 3:05 a.m., 7 days a week. So if you want to grab it on a podcast app, you can do that. And I'll see everybody here tomorrow.